Reactive training systems.
Into the last bits of training, into the taper, tapering felt just spot on, perfect, all throughout. Now, I was in kind of a weird situation with this competition prep that I had to fly from where I live in Belgium all the way back to Atlanta, Georgia, to do this competition. So it was a big travel, and due to some personal circumstances, I had to do that the day before. So I competed on Sunday, and I flew from Belgium to Georgia on Saturday. That is disruptive for me in a couple different ways. One is that I was already working harder than I would have liked for this weight cut. For whatever reason, this weight cut was just not that easy. It didn't seem to want to come off. And I think it would have been fine, except for that flight, less than 24 hours prior to competing. I think the flight caused me to retain water. Not entirely sure there, because when I got off the plane, I was heavy and my weight didn't drop down like it normally does at that 24-hour mark. So that was a little frustrating. And as it did kind of drop down, as like I get up the morning of the competition, now all of a sudden my back hurts. Like my back was fine, great even through the whole prep. And now I get up morning of competition and my back hurts. And it wasn't hurt like, oh, I'm injured now, or like I can't put my socks on. It was just like, it felt weird, definitely not right, tight, stiff. Let me put it this way. If it had just been a training day, I would not have trained. I would have packed it up and gone home. But you can't do that. It's a competition. So, I did all the things that I could do. I, went for a walk. I tried to, get it to loosen up. I just didn't want to loosen up. It wasn't that. It was just my back was a little pissed. And I think it had to do with, a combination of things. Being a little dehydrated, being on a really long flight, sleeping on a weird bed, and just probably moving weird at some point, right? So things that were not really controllable for me in this particular competition. But you just got to play the hand you're dealt. So I did make weight, and it ended up being not really a problem. I came in at, the weight that I normally do. It took more effort to get there, and I was definitely hungry the morning of the competition, but I got there eventually. And, I would definitely make some changes to the weight cut next time if I was going to end up doing it, more or less the same way. Try to arrive at the competition a little bit earlier. But, I'm not sure what else can be done. Like if you've got to fly in the day before, that's just the hand that you're dealt, and you just make the best of it, I could have tweaked a couple things perhaps and made that final drop in a little bit sooner, so I could have eaten a little bit more. But honestly, at that point, I don't think we're talking about anything that's going to affect performance. I think it's just a comfort thing. And this wasn't particularly difficult. It's not like I was doing saunas and hot baths and things like that. But, it was about the most effortful weight cut that I've done. And I think there's a good reason for that. And that comes in when we get into rehydration. So I've got a rehydration plan that I've laid out over the years and tweaked, and usually it works perfectly. And I feel like I'm in a good spot. This time, as I said, the final weight cut did not really go according to plan. And I was a little more dehydrated at weigh-in than I would normally be. So I felt like that rehydration plan was just not fully adequate. It wasn't terrible. It was pretty good. It just wasn't all the way good, right? And here's the kicker about it. I don't know that there's much that can be done about that. After squats, I had some minor cramping issues. It wasn't anything that was like really disruptive, but it didn't feel good. It's not what you want, right? And it is an indicator that, hey, you're not fully rehydrated, right? The thing is, I don't think I can take on any more fluid than I was already taking on. Already as it was, I do all the things that, a lifter is supposed to do in terms of rehydration. But I'm already pushing it to the point where I have a lot of liquid in my stomach as I start to do my squat warm-ups, and you can feel the belt pushing on it, and that's uncomfortable. So perhaps, I can tweak the electrolytes a little bit or something like that, but I don't think I can push any more fluid. And I've wondered for a long time, quick sidebar, I guess. I've wondered for a long time, why is it that heavyweight powerlifters don't tend to cut that much weight as percentage of body weight compared to light or middleweight powerlifters? You see some people in, say, the 66 class or the 83 class, even the 93 class, cutting a significant portion of their body weight, rehydrating, and performing great at competition. And I think, what would it be like for me as a 120 to cut a similar percentage of body weight? And most 120s that I know don't do anything like that kind of dehydration. And I've kind of wondered why. I think there's a wisdom of the crowd thing in this. Like, surely people have tried it and it just doesn't work that great. Otherwise it would have caught on, right? I think maybe this is the answer. I think there's a limit to the rehydration that can be done probably at any body weight. So maybe a limit in terms of absolute weight cut, right? So even though the lighter weight classes are cutting a greater percentage of their body weight, it's still, whatever we're talking about, 2 kilos or 3 kilos. 3 kilos for some of these weight classes is not that bad. Some of them, it's quite a bit. The point is, rehydrating that amount is doable. Rehydrating 5 kilos, 6 kilos, 7 kilos is not, right? You just run into a limit of the mass of fluid and electrolyte that you need, even though it's a similar percentage of body weight. You just can't absorb all of that and get it where it needs to go in the amount of time that you've got. So that was one of my rehydration takeaways. Hey, let me tell you something that I know about you. Your lifting is important to you. It's probably one of your biggest priorities. And for people like us, nothing compares to the feeling that you get when you set a new PR. That feeling of being the best that you've ever been, of doing something that you've never done before. This is what we're all after, and it's also what RTS specializes in. Getting you the absolute best program possible so that you can hit new PRs and reach your goals. We call it radically individualized training, and we're really good at it. Whether we need to account for busy schedules or equipment limitations, or precisely turn the dials and get the details of the program just right, we have the tools and the experience to guide your lifting to the next level. To us, coaching is all about leadership, relationship, and creative problem solving. A coach should be poised to help you make tough decisions about training and competing so that you can continually grow in your development. And of course, a coach should be a first-rate problem solver, especially when it comes to your training, technique, and strategy. Now, all this has to be built off of a really strong, professional coaching relationship that emphasizes trust and respect. Additionally, RTS coaches are not on an island. We have a strong network of professionals to reach out to, so if you find yourself in need of some specific expertise, say in the realm of nutrition or injury management or sports psychology, there's a deep expertise available there too. For more information, go to store.reactivetrainingsystems.com and click on coaching. That's store.reactivetrainingsystems.com, then click on coaching. Hope to see you on the team soon.